we're winning. I believe it. I believe good's winning. And I just think evil's louder.
Evil's louder, but I do think that...
But I think we need to get louder.
I think that this is going to cause a chain reaction.
Yeah.
That is
Red Rock's church right now. Be a rowdy church.
Yeah.
Right? Be a rowdy church.
Get out there and be louder.
That means be louder. Hey guys, it's Garrett Townsend here with Burn the Ships. As always, I am joined by my bro, Mr. Chad Cabalka. And hey, if this is your first time tuning in to our show, look, we're just two dudes that one day decided through our level 100 conversations, like we're talking about stuff that we feel like could affect or change or make a difference in somebody else's life. So we decided a year and a half ago to start this podcast, and it's literally just two dudes sitting in my front room of my house that, you know, we feel like we have some good things to say. And if we've affected you in any positive way and you like the show, you know, we do have 4,000 subscribers. So obviously some people out there kind of like what we're doing. And if you do love the show, or there's a reel or a clip or the entire show that moves you or affects you in a certain way, share it with your friends and get them to subscribe to the show. We're not doing this for any kind of benefit to us other than hoping that we can, you know, have a positive effect on somebody's life. So we appreciate you guys joining us, and yeah, that's pretty much the skinny of what Burn the Ships is about. How you been, man?
Well, I think I speak for our entire country that this last week was a heavy week. I think that puts it lightly. So today's topic, we are going to delve really deeply into Charlie Kirk and his assassination, his life that he lived prior to his death, the outcome, the ramifications, because that has spiderwebbed in so many different directions. But last week here locally, we also had a school shooting at Evergreen. Mm-hmm. It was the anniversary of 9/11. Yeah. So I just feel like the last week has been really, really heavy.
Yeah, and so you guys know, like, you know, most of our shows are more in a positive state, right? Like we're talking about, you know, fatherhood and marriage and entrepreneurship and, you know, whether it's health and fitness or whatnot, we try to keep it upbeat. But yeah, when I was talking to Chad the other day and we were talking about, you know, what to do the show about, I mean, last week was heavy. I mean, when I say heavy, that's, like you said, that's keeping it light, right? You know,
last week was brutal.
It really was. I mean, my wife cried all day. I think it was last Wednesday, right?
Last Wednesday.
And my daughter cried. And
tell me about when you first found out. Unfortunately, it's horrible that his last video is the video of his death, and everybody saw that. Didn't mean to.
I didn't see it.
You didn't?
No.
Don't see it.
Yeah, I don't want to.
You don't,
honestly. No.
I clicked a reel on Instagram expecting it to, you know, blur out or not show anything. I was just curious about what happened. My wife and I were sitting at lunch between, our sons had fun runs that day where they run a mile and raise money for their school. It was a lot of fun. So it was between two really fun events. We're sitting at a restaurant in Highlands Ranch, and she said, Charlie Kirk got shot. And I was like, what? Because just to give the audience, I love Charlie Kirk. I've followed him for years. He's a man of faith, a man of family, a man of country. I connect a lot with all of that. Right. As my shirt shows, I'm a follower of Jesus. I love Jesus. I love my country. I believe I'm a patriot. Mm-hmm. And so I connected with a lot of it. So she said, Charlie Kirk got shot. And I was like, no way. And I just put it into Instagram, and it was immediately after it, within 5 minutes. And they hadn't censored it yet. So unfortunately, like much of the world, got to see it front and center.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and don't.
Yeah, I don't care to. I mean, I was on the golf course playing golf with one of my realtor partners, and he's a Jesus-loving, conservative patriot, just like me. And I want to say we were hole 7 or 8 at that point. And when I had somebody text me, my buddy Chris Sitton texted me and said, hey, did you hear Charlie Kirk got shot? Your first initial is, you know, some ding dong in the crowd, you know, somehow or another snuck a weapon in, shot him in the arm or something like that. And
That's what I was expecting to see.
So obviously, I texted him back and was like, oh my gosh, is he okay? Is he going to make it? And I was expecting like, oh yeah, he's fine. But no, I mean, he's, Chris is like me, a hunter and outdoorsman and whatnot. And he's like, yeah, there's no way he's making it out of this one.
No, as soon as I saw it instantly, I knew.
When he said, based what I just saw, he goes, there's no human being that could live through that.
No,
it would take a complete miracle.
It was brutal.
Yeah. So,
but it's really unfortunate that of all the videos that he's ever put out, the thousands upon thousands of them, speaking about God and country and for the most part, love and unity and all this other stuff. Sure, he had some controversial to some viewpoints, but unfortunately, at least right now, that is what everybody is thinking about. And I think that was the initial reaction. Well, the initial view was of him being shot, but it did, I believe, lead millions of people to see the man he was and what he cared about and shared and preached and loved. So
I think I forget what the numbers were, but his reels and his social outreach now is bigger by multiples than it ever has
his
been. Because
personal Instagram page went from 1 million to 13 million in less than a week. So that doesn't include Turning Point USA or anybody associated with it. That's just his personal one. And then obviously he has Charlie Kirk Reels and all these other supporting platforms and supporting accounts, but just his personal one went up 1,300% in a week.
Yeah, I've had so many conversations around this over the last week. One yesterday with my buddy Reggie, and we pretty much talked about it the whole time. Last week, I went to have an appetizer and a soda with my daughter, just some one-on-one time with us. That's what we ended up talking about most of the time. Is this deal with Charlie? We dove into a little bit about our faith and what's going on there with her and with me, and how if Jesus was to come back tomorrow, are we good and whatnot? And so it was a great time with my daughter, but I've had so many conversations around this lately. And, like Reggie asked me, he's like, if I were in your podcast and I was, asking you like, what did Charlie Kirk mean to you? Like who was he to you? And, to me, he was the ultimate disciple, right? I mean, the ultimate disciple. And when I say that, if you watch his reels and you could literally have somebody randomly pick 100 reels, he was a lover and spoken about Jesus Christ. And biblically, the guy literally, I swear, I think he had the Bible memorized.
Yeah.
I mean, he at 31 years old, I feel like the dude literally had the entire Bible memorized.
He would say he's not a theologian, but I'd be hard pressed to find a pastor that has more biblical references lined up in his brain than Charlie Kirk did.
You probably won't.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Him just being able to drop verses and context of the verses.
Yeah.
At the drop of a hat.
That related to exactly whatever the debate was or the conversation was that they were talking about, right?
Right.
And so there was that. I mean, to me, he was accountability. He was a patriot. He loved America. To me, he was just literally the ultimate American Jesus loving disciple human being. Mm-hmm. Like everything that I feel like this guy represented was principle, again, accountability, right for wrong,
classic American values.
Yeah, just everything.
That's what he screams to me is classic American.
It's almost like the guy literally, came from the past 40 years ago and got dumped into what we have today and was like, oh yeah, no, this isn't.
And you always expect somebody like that to have skeletons in their closet.
Yeah. You're not going to find any.
Nothing.
No.
I do want to kind of not give the other side their 10 seconds on this platform, but I tried this morning really to have an open mind and read some of Charlie Kirk's most divisive comments. So I could see from the other side, there is never any acceptable stance for violence over what somebody is saying, ever. I don't believe in that. I don't think you believe in that. I believe in freedom of speech, all of that.
Depends on what you call violence.
Okay. Elaborate.
Well, I think 20 years ago, half of the people that pop off, and I think that we live in a world today that, I do feel like we've gotten very soft. I feel like the turn the other cheek mentality has, that people think that if you're a follower of Jesus, you should just turn the other cheek. And I feel like it's made men soft. And I will say that I feel like there are situations where, maybe somebody deserves a pop in the mouth.
Okay, yeah.
And so
that
when we're talking about murdering and
I'm talking about shooting somebody with a 30-06 from 200 yards
I'm
away.
talking about, do I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of the keyboard warriors, a lot of the people out there that poke, and as soon as they are confronted in any way, they become the victim very quickly, and we know who those people are.
Of course.
I think those people need to be punched in the face. I think most of those people, and again, I'm not a violent guy. I just know that I've been punched in the face many times in my life, and I feel like I have different views of the world than those people have.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. What I was trying to say is, because of somebody's words, unless those words are Nazism or something to that level, even just saying Nazis, I'd be hard pressed to say that person deserves to be in front of a firing squad for the words they say.
Right.
Unless it's leading to mass violence.
Right.
If somebody believes in gay marriage, right to abortion, supports Israel, doesn't support Israel, whatever, I don't think you should take a bullet for it.
No.
So
I've always had the stance that that's between them and God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, you think and say what you want, but that's between you and your maker, bud.
Right.
Like, that's not my position.
One of Charlie Kirk's most divisive comments that people really gave him a lot of grief for when he was alive. He said the biggest thing hurting the black community is young blacks killing blacks, and the only way to fix it is to have black fathers in the home. I don't think that that's a bad stance. I think that is logical. I do think that the highest murder rate in our country is between young black men.
Statistics are statistics
it is
for
a
a
fact.
reason. I mean, numbers don't lie.
It is a fact
And there's nothing racist about that, because I know a lot of really good black men myself, and I mean good black men.
Yeah.
That would agree with that 100%.
Yep. So a lot of people took that, and he believed that since the 1980s that the number of black fathers in households has fallen to sub 20%. And it's impossible to raise young men, white, black, or otherwise, without a father in the home. Mm-hmm. I am a staunch believer in that.
Yeah.
So him saying that black families need to be more black families, that is him wanting to raise up the black community in my eyes.
Yeah.
That is him wanting what is best for young black men and women. Because if a man is raised in a home with a father and sees that example, when he gets to be 20, 25, 30 and is starting his own family, he's going to be a father in that home. And it becomes a systematic upbringing of that community. I don't see any evil or mistreatment of the black community in that comment whatsoever.
Well, there is none. And let's face it, if you probably looked at who stunk it up the most on that comment, it's radical left white people that probably stunk it up the most.
Probably.
I'd be willing to bet.
I do believe
everything
that conversation, it was one of his college campus visits.
Yeah.
And it was with a black man. And the black man didn't really have a counterpoint to him saying, I want to see the black community have fathers in the home.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to argue that, because that's a good thing for a family and for young people.
Yeah.
Another one that he said that was pretty, especially given his
And by
death.
the way, that's a big deal with white people too.
Oh, that's a big deal with any people.
Hispanics, whatever.
It doesn't matter. Pick your rate.
The reality is, you and I talked about this in one of our previous podcasts about fatherhood.
I think we've talked about it in
about
multiple.
how many children out there are growing up today without a father, and it's not black children, it's children, white
Unfortunately,
children.
the black community has a much higher rate of fatherless households.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, all races.
But that leads to Charlie's point that white households. I don't quote me on these statistics, but let's just say 75%. Nobody's going to be 100%. Let's say 75%. And black is under 20 at this point. Could that be looked at as a reason why the graduation rate is lower, why the murder rate is significantly higher? Of course.
Yeah.
You don't have, all due respect to moms out there, and frankly, moms can be terrifying, but fathers are the ones who are responsible biblically for the discipline of the home.
Yeah.
And I would say not graduating from high school is a lack of discipline. I would say feeling like I can pick up a gun and blow somebody away because they wear a different color shirt than me is lack of discipline.
Yeah.
So another really, really big comment that he is now being, well, before I move on from that one, there was one other Charlie. I feel like we're going to do this the whole time, just relating back to Charlie Kirk videos, but he was in another conversation with a black man who brought up DNA, the difference in DNA between white men and black men. And Charlie Kirk desponded that and said, no, there was a study done by this high level medical college that our DNA is exactly the same. It is just a difference of melanin. And because of that, I saying Charlie, cannot be racist because I believe there is only one race.
Yeah.
And the race is human.
Yeah.
I don't care how much melanin is in your skin or not.
Right.
So that was one of
the color doesn't make the man.
No,
the man makes the man.
Man makes the man.
Yeah.
And he actually had one comment eerily similar to MLK that, again, going back to melanin, he said, I care about the character of a man's heart, not the melanin in his skin.
Yeah.
And I mean, that harkens back to, I care about the content of one's character.
Yeah.
So then unfortunately they met the same demise from a loony on the other side, not liking what they were saying.
Yeah, but the reality is, man, we talked about it earlier. You know, there's the haters out there. Again, first of all, do you think that right now that we are? Would you say that this country? First of all, we know that we're very divided. And I think we're more divided now than ever.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me how a lot of the radical left. And here's the deal, guys. Like we're not pulling any punches today. I'm not making this about politics, but what I will say is I don't think that the people that are going to watch our show are really going to be the radical left anyway. And if they do, and you don't like what we say, just don't watch the show. I really don't care. I mean, that's we decided when we did this that we were going to openly talk about Jesus. We're going to talk about our beliefs and our thoughts. And if you don't like it, just don't watch the show. It's that simple to me. So there, get that off the table. But, you know, with the division, asking you the question, do you think we're in a political war right now? Or do you think that we are in a spiritual biblical war?
1,000,000% a spiritual war.
100%.
Without a doubt.
I don't think any of this has anything to do with politics, quite honestly, because the reality is it's gone so far from politics that it's not even funny. Politics used to be conservative mind, you know, less government, more freedom, more entrepreneurs,
less taxes, more free market,
you know, less giving away money to people that don't want to work. And, you know, more of the liberals were, you know, let's help the poor. Let's be a crutch for the people that decide to live on the streets or whatever, you know, more tax dollars, you know, their idea that, you know, the rich don't pay any taxes or whatever, you know, there was more, you know, but I feel like the left has become less about policy, less about those things. And it's become so far about the social aspect of it. Right. You know, all the transgender stuff, the LB, whatever
fill
it is.
In the blank.
Yeah,
today,
fill in the blanks. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. But there's zero doubt in my mind that today, this isn't about right and left. This is about good and evil.
Amen. 100%.
We are in a war of good and evil. And Reggie and I talked about it yesterday. And I said, the reality of it is, dude, I honestly believe the reason Satan is so loud right now is because he's losing. And he knows he's losing. I think Jesus is winning right now. I think that that radical loud left, there is so fewer of them because I truly believe that Satan has his arms wrapped all around the people that are controlling the media, controlling social media, and all of the outlets, that is this illusion that there's just all this evil out there. And I feel like they want us to believe that they're winning, so we just give up.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. You don't see, when was the last time you saw millions of people in the street in another country because of somebody being assassinated in our country? Millions of people in UK, millions of people in the streets in South Korea. I mean, when?
I can't think of a single assassination, but I would say 9/11. I remember there being parades and shows, very outgoing love and unity.
Yeah, that brought unity, though. This is bringing more division.
I completely agree with it. I cannot think of when a single person was killed. Obviously, I wasn't here for Kennedy. I don't know if it happened then. I wasn't here for MLK.
Right.
But for it, I didn't happen when Tupac got shot, I don't think.
But when you think about that...
Genuinely, never.
Yeah, when you think about one man in today's world that believed in Jesus and believed in principle and believed in family and believed in being a good human being and didn't believe in diversity, believed that, again, skin color was skin color. It wasn't the person. And you look at the reach and the impact that dude had on this earth. If that doesn't point out that Jesus is, that he's winning in this, do you ever see?
I feel like it cracked an egg. For sure.
Buddy. And I'm telling you,
the amount of it, like Kylie and I went to church on Sunday night at Red Rocks, and house was packed like it was Christmas, more than Christmas.
Right.
The line was out the door. You couldn't find a seat. It was amazing. And I have seen so many videos on social media of guys who with tattoos up their neck, putting on a suit and being like, I don't know why I'm going to church, but this is what Charlie believed. Yeah. Genuinely, I've seen like literally 20 of them, and they're like, I'm going to go to church today. Or another one, a guy was walking to church filming himself. He's like, I had to park 4 blocks away from my church so I could go to church. How beautiful is this? Amen. Yeah. And it hurts so bad that somebody had to die for it. I believe this was Charlie's calling his whole life. Yeah. I believe God. Well, we all know that, right? We if you're a believer, you know that our story is already written. Yeah. And it hurts. And my heart is so freaking broken for Erica Kirk and their 2 babies. Oh, yeah. But he's at home with Jesus now. He's celebrating, dude. He is celebrating. Jesus gave him a hug and said, good work, my faithful servant. Yeah. Welcomed him into heaven. But what has happened in the last week in homes, around kitchen tables, all the way up to the freaking White House, it is, when you say Jesus is winning, this week just shows that in droves. Yeah. I think it is incredible to see. It is heartbreaking, but it is incredible. Yeah. And you can ask like, what makes you think that? I truly believe that there are very few of the other people that we're talking about, the evil side. I truly believe there's fewer of them. I just think that they have a powerful reach, and I feel like they're loud. They're louder. They have control over what we see, and they're losing. And the more they lose, the more they're threatened. The more Satan is threatened. I mean, his only purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. And so they're going to take away anything that they can that's good. But the reality is, in this situation, it backfired bigger than. I mean, you want to talk about a backfire. And I guarantee you, Satan's going, man, I wish I could take that back. Yeah, seriously. And I've seen videos of that were immediately released, the disgusting celebratory videos of a man's death. Yeah. And especially killing a man for just the words that he said. But there was a video of this gal with all sorts of piercings, probably in her early 20s, saying, well, he's gone. And the good news is nobody's going to care. He's not going to be a martyr because nobody cares. He's going to disappear. No, that's hilarious. He was part of not only a political awakening, but a spiritual awakening in this country. I truly, truly believe that. Not to talk too much in politics, but over the last 2 years, Democrats have lost 2.1 million voters while the right has gained 2.4.
Yeah.
And the reason is the left. And when I say the left, I do know many good liberal people.
Yeah.
I am not going to sit here and demonize an entire class of people.
No.
But per U.S. News Report and New York Times, they did a survey of where would you consider yourself on the political spectrum? And 9% said very far left. So when you think 9%, if you extrapolate that out to our entire country, that's 30 million people. 30 million people were probably jumping up and down, not on social media, but at their own kitchens celebrating it. And that's insanely disgusting. But to circle back to that gal, she couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
I mean, the guy's funeral is being held at State Farm Stadium where the Arizona Cardinals play.
Yeah.
How many times is that? I can think of one person that had a stadium funeral, and that was Chris Kyle, the famous Navy SEAL sniper. That it didn't sell out the stadium by any stretch, but Jerry Jones allowed it to happen at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Charlie Kirk's is literally going to have 80,000 people at it.
They had they had over 30,000 applicants wanting to start Turning Point.
It's up to 57,000.
57,000 Turning Point chapter inquiries or applicants or whatever.
Plus, yeah. 57,000 in less than a week.
That's just chapters.
Yeah.
How many people involved in each chapter, and what are those chapters outreach going to be, and the effect that they're going to have on their communities or whatnot. I mean, it is insane to me what is going on in a blessed way, in a good way. And and going back to your, not wanting this thing to be political.
It is,
buddy. I'm telling you right now, I think people are sick of the bullshit, quite honestly. I think they're sick of the bullshit. I think they're sick of the radical left being so far radically left that even the more center left people are like, dude, I'm not part of this.
This is too much.
This is too much. I'm not part of this. I'm not part of transgenders showing up in elementary schools and reading books about stuff that is completely inappropriate to children. I'm not okay with, the fact that the public school agenda, that it's okay for, what is the law that got put into place here in Colorado by our governor that said something like that a parent can go to jail if they misgender their child or something?
That happened?
I thought it did. I thought I saw something where he put it into play that if your son is a son and you're like, no, dude, you're a boy and he wants to be a girl, that you could be brought up on charges for that. Okay, well, we can look that up. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn or whatever.
Completely right.
I know I saw it. Now for me, I'm just like, dude, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But nevertheless, there's just stuff like that I know. Like my father-in-law, that's, God rest his soul, he's not with us anymore, that I love to pieces. And I know that if I was having this conversation with him right now on just the absurdity of what's going on in this country right now, in this world, with pushing all that crap on everybody, because quite honestly, dude, I don't care. If you're a dude and you want to dress like a woman or be a woman or go get surgically, mutilated or whatever, that's you. I don't care. When it starts to affect me and you're trying to push it on me and you're pissed at me and I'm a bigot because I don't agree with you, that's where I do have a problem with it. Because I don't have to agree with you. I tell my wife that all the time, baby, it's okay. I can agree to disagree with you.
And that was Charlie's stance that he died on.
Yeah.
The way that Charlie did it and the freedom he gave to the other side to spit whatever wild rhetoric they wanted at him, outside of a few times when he was clearly pushed over the edge by somebody, an agitator who was just there to fight, he always did it with civil discourse, with respect, with logic, with feelings, but he never attacked, belittled, ever. Unless there was a couple of times where he fought back. he's not somebody I would want to get in an intellectual argument with.
No.
But he would fight back.
I wouldn't entertain that for 2 seconds. I'd be like, man, I give up now.
Yeah. We're
one of the smartest human beings that I've ever seen in my life.
We always say that we're just simple guys.
Yeah.
He would absolutely thrash us in a debate, but he always gave the other side a chance to talk.
Mm-hmm. And he would set his mic down. That was his thing. He was like, here, you're talking. Pick up his mic. May I speak
just
now?
To make it clear respect that I'm not going to talk over you. My mic's not even in my hand.
Yeah.
And he would allow the other side to throw whatever punches they want. Mm-hmm. And he would reply with logic, a lot of time, love, and clear positions that he stood on. Yeah. And whether it be abortions or Christ or whatever, he always, at the drop of a hat, had the perfect rebuttal.
Yeah. He's going to be missed, but the thing is the good news is there's thousands of reels out there, and I've probably seen half of them, and there's still the other half that I haven't seen. I think what I'll miss about him the most, and again, those reels are never going to go anywhere, right? They're going to become more and more and more. Yeah. I think one of the things I enjoyed the most about watching his reels is I felt like I always learned something.
Oh yeah.
Like every time he would get in a debate, whether it was about, something to do with history or law or biblical or whatever it was, I would always be like, damn, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Like it would just, I would always end up learning something by just listening to his reels. Right. And I loved it.
The funniest ones were there was two specifically where both of these college kids had the same argument about Charlie saying college is a scam. Yeah. And one of them was an economics major. Yeah. And Charlie was like, okay, well, why don't you tell me your viewpoint on this economist? I can't repeat.
Oh, he just rattles them off.
He rattles off like 4 economists. Yeah. And the kid who's a third or fourth year economics student couldn't reply to any of them.
Yeah. He didn't even know who they were.
And the same thing happened with an English major. Yeah. Where
famous authors.
And I mean, like I said, I'm a pretty simple man. And he was like, what's Jane Austen's best book? I know she wrote Pride and Prejudice along with a whole bunch of other books, but he couldn't even recite that. Yeah. And it's like that. Okay, that was case in point for his theory that number one, college is outrageously expensive unless you're going for a specific.
Yeah, but it's like, what are they teaching you?
What are they?
If you don't even know some of the most famous authors in history
or the famous economists in history, what are you doing there? Yeah. And his big argument was to be indoctrinized into left-leaning ideology. Yeah. And he was right, because it has come out a lot this week that there are many teachers, professors, etc., who are celebrating this. Yeah. They have been unceremoniously shown the door in a lot of those cases because this is something I really wanted to talk about. So last night, Jimmy Kimmel lost his show because of calling the shooter clearly a MAGA supporter on Monday before we knew anything about him, and then saying
Jimmy Kimmel,
and then he
lost his show.
He lost his show. He's off the air indefinitely. And then on Tuesday night, he said Trump is just using this for political gain, and he didn't really care about the guy and some other stuff. So ABC pulled his show. Now, a lot of people on the left are saying, well, what happened to freedom of speech? This is just cancel culture, and the right is being hypocrites. I don't agree with that at all. So what I believe cancel culture is, if you don't agree with me, you go back and you look through my entire history to when I was 14 years old, a dumb kid, and I said something stupid, and you say, okay, I'm going to cancel you because when Chad was 17, he said this gay slur. Right.
Or somebody could watch this and think that something that we've said today is offensive to them and cancel us out for that.
What the difference is today, if you're saying it and ABC is losing viewership and sponsors and possibly being sanctioned by the FCC, because that was a legitimate concern for them. Well, that isn't cancel culture. That is a consequence of your current action. Yeah. That is you saying some dumb shit to the world, doubling down on it when ABC told you, hey, you need to cut it out, and then you losing your job.
Yeah. To me, as the owner of a company, you have the right to decide what you want your brand to be. And if you've got employees out there spewing hate and love and celebrating somebody being assassinated.
There's been hundreds of those videos of.
Yeah. And what's so funny is it's always the people with 50 things in their face and
20
purple hair and
hairs,
stuff that are whining because they got fired. Now they're the victim. You know, they poke and celebrate this. And the employer's like, yeah, no, we're not part of that. We don't want to be part of that. Like, you can't work here if that's how you feel. Yeah. And now they're whining. They're the victim now. And I think it's awesome because to me, I'm going to tell you right now, if I owned a company, I have the right to have the people working for me that have the character that I want. And I'm sorry, somebody celebrating anybody's death is...
Who do we not agree with? I don't agree with AOC. I don't agree with Bernie Sanders. I actually kind of like Bernie Sanders. As a person, I'd want to go get a coffee with him and talk.
Yeah, just
because I believe that he would sit down and have civil discourse with me.
Absolutely.
I don't think AOC would, but Bernie Sanders, who else? Gavin Newsom. If any of them were to be executed publicly,
it would bother me big time.
It would bother the shit out of me. I'm not going to go celebrate it in the street.
Yeah, no. Like it would really bother me. Like, I'm not going to lie, because to me, I'd feel like that is an attack on
our country.
Yes. That is an attack on our culture. That isn't it would bother me.
And I tell you what,
I can tell you right now, dude, there's a lot of people that I honestly don't care too much for. Barack Obama.
Yep.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. If I found out that he was speaking and got murdered, it would bother me beyond bother me.
Yeah.
Like, I would be depressed about it. I would. I'd be like, this is not okay.
What really scares me right now is the powder keg that our country is and how radicalized the left is. If I'm China, if I'm Iran, if I'm Russia, what could I do to destabilize this country more? Now that the right has lost somebody, well, let's go take out somebody on the left and make it look like the right did it. Let's create more division. Yeah. So if I'm AOC, if I'm Gavin Newsom, if I'm Bernie Sanders, if I'm anybody on that left side, I'm tripling my security right now, because from an outside worldview perspective, that happening, I could see that leading into civil war.
Well, but the thing is that would. But the thing is you and I both know that wouldn't be a civil war. I mean, let's just face it. I'm sorry, but
just say it. I know what you're going to say. Just say it.
I mean,
it'd be a very one-sided competition.
You look at that civil war. It wouldn't be a civil war.
No, it wouldn't. We are in no way, shape, or form saying that we want or need that.
No,
that is
exactly. That's ridiculous. But it would also be ridiculous that even that would even be. I think that they even know that would be stupidity. So. But
I'm just saying, from a world politics standpoint, how could these countries who are our enemies, whether we admit it or not, they don't want to see America thriving. What could they do today to destabilize it more?
You just create more division.
By taking out one of the left's head people.
Yeah. But,
I don't think it would lead to civil war, but I do think it would lead to more fracturing, more just not good things.
But when you talk about, let's hit on that a little bit. When you talk about, something happening to the left versus the right, like, for example, I watched a reel the other day where it was in some sort of a government meeting. I don't know. It was a reel, so I don't know what the meeting was, but
like
it was
a city council type meeting.
No, it was bigger than that. But this guy was basically asking a left government of, whether he was a congressman or a senator or whatever, he was going left or right. And he started rattling off all the violence, shootings, burning Teslas, like just literally rattled off like 25 or 30 of them and was like left or right, and left. And it was all violent shit. And will that beep out my little cuss words? I hope it does. Anyway,
I don't want to bleep out the cuss words on this video.
But, it's just crazy to me. Like, literally, look how big of a deal this was to Christian, maybe not even Christian, just patriotic Americans that love Charlie Kirk. Maybe they didn't agree with
millions upon millions of people.
And how big and ugly of a thing this was. Has there been any violence?
Absolutely zero.
Created from this that I haven't seen? I'm just curious. I mean, has there been any burning of cities or anything. Again, I don't watch the news.
The parallels would be Charlie Kirk, George Floyd. That's George Floyd was a convicted rapist and a heavy drug user and not in his family's home. I believe he had children, was not present in their home. Charlie Kirk,
he was apprehended by the police, of which was very rough. And to me, you know, you could call it purposeful death. I do not believe that the cop that was on him was like, I'm going to kill this guy.
Right. Did he take the proper steps? No. And I'm the first one to admit that.
And it was messed up. Any way you slice it. I mean, again,
he was a 300-pound man who was probably overdosing and was in respiratory distress. You didn't need to put your knee in his neck.
Yes.
And I don't believe that needed to happen. And it's sad that he died.
At all. And I don't believe that man needed to die because of that either. So, you know, so I mean, again, I feel for that. But then you got a guy that was purposely targeted and executed. Conservative values, family man, Christian man, loving of all people. Yeah.
All people.
Yeah.
He even loved the crazy left who attacked him, loved everyone.
Yeah.
When this guy died, you had Ferguson, Missouri burned down. You had massive riots in Minnesota. You had
all over the country.
All over the country.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter stemmed because of his death, which continued more riots in Detroit and Baltimore.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk's death. Oh, well, and you can point to many more deaths during those riots and literally billions of dollars in destruction.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk's death. Much more famous, purposely targeted, 0 riots, not one. 0 deaths because of his death, not one.
Lots of vigils, lots of people.
Of prayer.
Yep.
Lots of community, lots of love, lots of pain, but respect.
Yeah.
Tell me if this is the right's reaction to death and this is the left's reaction to death, which party and which group has more sense between their ears?
Yeah. Which one's more peaceful? Yeah. Which one's more, I mean, and again, it's the sheep.
I'll make it political because it is political.
It's the sheep that follow the loud. Like I've said, they're just louder. And then there's all the sheep that just follow. Violence has become okay. And I truly believe that there's a lot of people in the world that are moderate left I truly believe they're kind of getting sick of it along with us. This is embarrassing. It would be embarrassing to me.
Look,
if that was the rights party stance, like it was always violence and, you know, I don't know, some redneck shit or whatever that was, you know,
if the KKK started rising up through the ranks, I would be so embarrassed, bro.
I'd be beside myself.
Yeah.
I would be beside myself.
Yeah.
I would be like, this isn't who we are. This isn't what I represent.
Yeah.
I want heaven to be as crowded as it can possibly be. How do we take more of those people and pray for them and bring them to church? And one day I'm in heaven and some dude walks up to me and gives me the biggest hug and says, gee, I'm here because of you. That's what Charlie was about. His wife said it, and it was one of the things that we always say at Red Rocks. His wife said Charlie just wanted heaven to be more crowded. You know,
she said that.
Yeah, she said that in one of her speeches. I saw it, and when she said it, of course, it immediately resonated with me because that's what we always say at Red Rocks. You know, we just want heaven to be more crowded, and to me, that's what it's about, man. And you know, I honestly I pray for a lot of these very lost people. And I think that, again, I think that we're winning, Mud. And when I say we, I don't mean this isn't left or right. This is the good versus the evil. And if you asked me, if you literally took the world's population, I'm sorry, man, I would say 90% of the world is good. I would. I'd say there's that small 10% of the world that is just evil. The problem with that evil is that 10% has a big reach. They're very powerful and they're very loud. But I truly believe, and this isn't just my heart, and I may be completely wrong, but I truly believe that 90% of human existence is good. I just do. I believe we're good. And I just believe that the evil is just very loud and very in our face all the time. That's just my opinion, man.
I do believe that the major difference is instead of killing the people we don't agree with, we pray for them.
Yeah.
We invite them to church. We try to take care of them. And the far left, there's no other way to coin it but saying that they are evil. And that I am not saying that to moderate lefts or people who would consider themselves to be Democrat. I believe this country is at its greatest when there is a little bit of left, a little bit of right,
100%,
and it's a check and a balance.
Yeah, if we all agreed and all had the same ideas and the same ideologies about everything, I mean,
that is what makes our country great, is the ability to sit down, have a disagreement, talk about it, maybe get persuaded, maybe persuade the other guy.
Yeah.
That is what America was built on. But when you have gone so far to one side that you celebrate a father's death, that you destroy the cities that generations have built because of a disagreement over words or anything like it, it is really, really hard to look at that side with any sense of compassion, but that's exactly what Jesus would tell us to do.
Yeah.
Is they are lost, and the only way they're going to get found again is through Jesus.
And for me, I mean, again, I said it earlier, I think that we've become a society that when you've got one side that is loud and violent, that we've become very soft. I almost feel like as Christians, you know, we've taken that whole turn the other cheek a little bit too literal. And yeah, I want to pray for people, but I think that there are people out there and I think that we as Christians and patriots and Americans and whatever, I think we need to say more and get a little louder and be the disciples that God called us to be. I think there's just too many of us out there that are, and when I say us, I mean all of us, that are just too quiet, too much like, let them be loud and do what they're going to do, and we'll just sit back. It's not even worth saying anything. And I think that a lot of people are starting to get sick of it, and I hope that a lot of people will start getting louder on the other side.
I think that's happening right now with this.
Yeah, I think this has triggered something in people that.
No, I'm talking about you and me sitting here talking about this the way that we are right now.
Yeah,
we have always talked about God on our podcast. We've always talked about Jesus Christ. We've always done that, but with this sort of reckless abandon isn't probably the right way of coining it, but the unfettered fervor for it that Jesus deserves, that this country needs. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you're not Christian, I believe if you're Catholic, if you're Mormon, if you're Jewish, those all stem in some way, shape or form from a Christian background. They are all good too. And I believe that those religions all have very positive pieces behind them. Yeah. They also all believe in fathers in the home, in loving your neighbor, in so many things. I do believe there's religions that don't. Right. That I do not agree with wholeheartedly, that I think are evil. But I do think that turning to God is something that this country needs, this world needs. Yeah. And I've always been, when somebody would ever say, you know, the end times are coming, this is it, Jesus is coming back soon, I'd always kind of laugh it off and be like, well, that was 2,000 years ago, and every generation probably believes that. Yep. With how large the spiritual war is now, maybe it is. You know, and my daughter. I'm not saying it's the end time, but if Jesus came back tomorrow, at this point in my life, would it surprise me? No. Yeah. So my daughter, that was our conversation. So she brought it up and she's like, Dad, you know, it could be happening. You know, she starts rattling off all these biblical things that were supposed to take place when this was going to take place. And she, my daughter knows more about the Bible than I do. And
she starts rattling off all these different things that have happened that are supposed to be signs that it's coming. And, and for me, I mean, I just looked at her and said, well, baby girl, let me ask you something. I said, if this happens today, do you feel good? I mean, do you feel like you've honored and been what God has called you to be, to, that you're guaranteed to go to heaven? She literally was like, yeah, I feel like it, but I feel like I could do more. I feel like I could be better. I feel like that, if it doesn't happen for 10 more years, that there's a lot more I could do to be a better disciple. And, it's cool to feel that way. And the only thing that I say, like when I see people acting foolish or doing, again, a lot of the stuff that we've already talked about today, like I said, I mean, my thing is that's between you and God. I mean, because if he comes tomorrow, that's on you. I mean, I have this much doubt that I've honored him and done what I need to do to earn my place in eternity.
Well, the beautiful thing about eternity is you don't need to earn it. It's already been earned for you.
Exactly. But I'm just saying
there is one requirement to get to heaven.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. That's it. A lovingly true embrace of Jesus. And that's it.
Yep.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
Because God already knows we're broken.
Yeah.
God already knows we're going to mess up.
Yeah.
Again, our stories are, I believe wholeheartedly, our stories are written before we're born.
Oh, 100%.
And the only thing you need to do is repent and accept Jesus. That's it.
Yeah.
It is the simplest religion in the history of all religions.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
There is no good works that need to be done. There is no, you have to go to confessional this many times and say this many Hail Marys and this, that, or the other thing. There is no memorization of the Torah required. Christianity is the simplest religion out there.
Yeah.
But it's the most pure, loving, embracing. God, if you just go to one Red Rock service and just feel it.
Yeah.
It's so undoubtedly, in my mind, the correct path, because there's so many different paths we can all take.
Yeah.
And I'm not as eloquent as Charlie when it comes to talking
I mean, there's one way, and that's through him.
Yeah.
And, whatever that looks like for you, again, that's between you and him. And for me, when you say, our story's already been written by God himself, I do believe that. And I do believe that you and I think that there's more. And when I say more, I have zero doubt that God has more in store for you and me, from the aspect of being bigger and having more territory for our reach as far as being a disciple. Zero doubt. And it's just up to us to make that happen and make sure that we ask him for the guidance and the strength and whatever to get there. But I know that there's a lot of work to do. I feel like right now, for those of us that are strong Christians, strong disciples, that believe that we want to make heaven more crowded, and we believe that there's a lot of evil in this world, if I could simplify it, I would say there's a lot of work to do.
There's always a lot of work to do.
There's a lot of work to do.
Jesus believed that. His disciples believed it. They died for it.
I've reached out to so many of my brothers that I know love Jesus as much as me in the last week, and just said, hey guys, all this shows is we got a lot of work to do.
That's a perfect way to end it right there.
Yeah.
So Charlie, rest in peace. Be with Jesus.
You will not be forgotten, brother.
No, you will not be forgotten. Erica, your husband's legacy is titanium concrete entrenched, not only for
hundreds of years. People will know.
Literally, your husband is written into the history books.
Yeah.
From here on out, there will be classes taught on your husband.
Yeah.
100 years from now, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And but most importantly, your husband's Christian legacy it's literally changing the world. It is changing the world.
Yeah.
And I believe that down to my soul. And millions, your husband wanted to make heaven more crowded. we're hoping we have one person hug us.
Yeah.
Charlie's going to have millions.
Yeah.
He's going to have a line
There'll
for
be people
eternity
standing in line
to give that guy a hug and say, you saved my soul.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And we're winning. I believe that. I believe good's winning. And I just think evil's louder.
Evil's louder, but I do think that.
I think we need to get louder.
I think that this is going to cause a chain reaction. That is
Red Rocks Church right now. Be a rowdy church.
Yeah.
Right. Be a rowdy church.
Get out there and be louder.
That means be louder. And let's go make heaven more crowded. And dude, I love this. I actually got goosebumps right now.
I got goosebumps like 7 different times.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's all about love and respect and right and wrong and good and evil.
I highly doubt anybody on the left got this far in this video, but know that we love you. We want the best for you.
Yeah.
That we do not view you as the enemy. We view Satan as the enemy. We view the extreme ideology that anybody on that side has. That is the enemy, not the person.
Yeah.
So we're out here to change hearts and minds.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if this has moved you in any way, hopefully a positive way, please share the show. And we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, God bless, guys.
Peace out.